All right, pleased to bring in now foreign policy analyst, senior vice president at the Institute of World Politics, Christine Balling, and foreign policy expert Harley Lippman to continue this in-depth conversation. Welcome to you both. Christine, I'd like to start with you, your reaction to that. One possible solution, obviously not everything can go across a land line when it comes to oil and exports. But obviously the Strait of Hormuz still remains the critical choke point.
That's right. Thank you for having me. I think one significance of Netanyahu's statement there is that obviously both he and President Trump are thinking of alternatives to get around Iranian control without putting our troops in harm's way. So this should be reassuring that both governments are considering all options, and it certainly sounds to be a logical one.
Yeah, it is definitely logical, methodical, leaving still options on the table. I mean, that's the bottom line, though. They have a week, Harley. I mean, we're coming up again 7 days. President Trump is also not shy about saying, we'll take the oil. He had this interview with the Financial Times. Could be Carg Island, could be special ops troops also going in for that enriched uranium. So many options. And obviously, a lot of this has to be kept confidential. What is your thought on how these talks may progress as Iran knows that there are all these options?
Well, I don't think that Iran could be trusted no matter what they say. If you and I were advising Iran, we'd probably tell them, and we're not advising Iran, obviously, but we would say to them, agree to anything, get the United States off your back. That doesn't mean they're going to honor it. They have no intention of doing it. Their strategy is to endure. They're not trying to win in the conventional sense as we know. But Saudi Arabia has already set up an east-west pipeline to do exactly what we just saw in the interview with Chris Reddy.
Right.
And
I think we have that map. They've been using it.
They have that now. So they've been far-sighted in thinking of this, and they have it done, and we just have to expand on it. But to your point about options, there were a lot of options, and we have to be patient and trust our president with his strategy. He's not announcing the strategy because he doesn't want to give the enemy an advantage. But between taking Carg Island, taking some of the other islands, East-West Pipeline, these are all solvable. We shouldn't panic. Things, it's like they say, Rome wasn't built in a day. It's not going to happen overnight. But in a short period of time, no one knows exactly. These are all doable. So I'm very optimistic, actually.
Everyone from the administration, Secretary of State Rubio, still saying weeks, not months. So there you have it. We're still not past the 4 to 6 weeks, which was the initial sort of offshoot on all this. I want to play a little bit from Reza Pahlavi, who was here domestically speaking at CPAC, advocating for a free Iran. Here's what he told folks in Dallas just days ago.
Life can never go back to normal. There is a sea of blood between the people.
Yeah. Obviously, a little transmission problem. But okay, so he is speaking. Then there's this report, Christine, that there was text messages sent out asking people to follow a link. They're Iranian and saying, if you will sacrifice your life. What can you glean on where we may be with defections, where we may be with civilians? When we spoke last time, it was a civilian who tipped off about one of the commanders that they hit in a tent in the middle of nowhere. Couple that with the potential of, is there some back-channeling with Pahlavi and maybe some potential for him to actually be installed or put in?
Well, possibly, but the bad news is that at present, the internet is still down in Iran. So the people, the vast majority will not have any sense as to what is really happening. And, again, the key is that the IRCG and the Basij, even though some of the leaders have very crucially been eliminated, the vast majority of the members are still in place on the ground. So I'm somewhat pessimistic as to how confident a group of civilians would feel at this point to go out and protest yet again. Yeah. So with fingers crossed, the Israelis are doing some work to mitigate this blackout on the ground as best as they can.
We know they've had Starlink. We'll see where that goes. Harley, Lippman, Christine Balling, I appreciate you both. Thank you so much for being with us today as things continue to be moment by moment extremely fluid in these talks. Thank you.